Hello. Yeah, it's been a while since anything has been posted in this channel. And you probably see why, because I look drastically different from the few videos I posted, from those videos that I posted some time ago, my first videos. And when I first posted those videos, I didn't like how I looked, and it was 172 pounds, and I've decided to go into the alternate day fasting, and I was documenting my progress, and that was almost already 3 years ago. It was in 2023, and now it's 2026. That was in September of 2023. Now it's April 2026, and you see that I look quite different. So, what to tell you guys and why I am posting this video. And yes, I decided to resurrect this channel because this is the only channel where I can honestly talk about my life and what had happened to me. And I also want to share my experience and maybe warn some other people not to believe everything you see on the internet, and you really have to be in charge of your own health, because what my body told me, saying, hey, your head decided to become pretty and young again, and you decided to starve the body, and the body was obeying you. Okay, you're not feeding us, we're going to support you, all the system is going to support you as long as it's possible. But then one day I couldn't get up. There was a morning where I literally couldn't get up, and I didn't know what was going on because my face was all swollen. I couldn't move. I literally thought that it's like I have no energy. I don't have any strength to move any of my limbs. And besides, I was working, and I'm still working full time. I managed to go to work, and I managed to actually perform at work, but I didn't know what was going on with me. I really didn't know what was going on with me. Yes, Don Peppers. And I thought that maybe that was a flu because I had my face running, and my swollen eyes and puffiness, and my body started growing all of a sudden out of nowhere. And it turned out I was taking a few days off here and there, thinking that that was the sinus infection, thinking that that was might be allergies or sinus infection or something else. And until one day I couldn't take it anymore, and our hospital, our clinic here that I belong, they have this wonderful thing that you don't have to call for appointment, but you come after hours, and they have a doctor on duty who actually sees you. And when they saw me, they saw my face, they asked me a few questions and said, you probably need to go and have labs. And when I did labs, it showed that I had my thyroid in such a huge disarray that my antibodies and my TSH and T4 and T3 were all out of order, and the results were shockingly awful and horrible, that they said that was really grave condition. So what I'm telling you all out there, if you're young and you're in your cycle, you also have to be very careful. And then when you're old and you're out of your cycle, you also have to be very careful. And the wave right now of all the fasting is coming to an end. And I saw the video yesterday from Dr. Mindy Peltz, where she's saying, oh, I don't know whether it's good to fast or not. New research, and the people are saying like, oh gosh, where are we going to stop this with these researches? Because one research says one thing, the other one says other one thing. And then the person who inspired me to do alternate day fasting, it was Marie Colleen and her ADF Facebook group. And I am the person who I am. Once I have a goal, I set it and I go to it. So when I started my ADF on September 1st of 2023, I followed it strictly, no matter how hard it was. You know, it is hard. The ADF is hard. And now, as I understand, it's very stressful on your body, because your body, literally, your body has to carry you through all the times, because the body has one purpose: to keep you alive as the system, as the human being. But our heads are saying that, oh, I don't like how I look, I don't know how I look, I whatever, and I need to lose these pounds and I need to lose these pounds. But in reality, what's happening, it's your hormonal system is telling you something, that it's better to start paying attention to things, what's going on with you. Why am I recording this? Because, okay, going back to 2023, I was euphoric. I lost all that weight. I looked lovely. I came back to work and I had my new eyelashes and I had my new hair, and I really looked so cool. I was wearing all my old clothes and I loved every moment of how I looked. And when I went to work, and it was even convenient, because you don't eat at work and you then one day eating, not eating. And then it started to have a toll on me, because it was more and more difficult to maintain, like 3 months and then 4 months of ADF. And then I came up to a conclusion that maybe I'm going to have OMAD. And OMAD is 1 meal a day. After work, I would be coming home and eat. I allowed myself eat 1 meal a day, and I started gaining weight, and I didn't know what to think. No matter what I was eating, I really started gaining weight. And besides, I was craving sweets, and I found for myself that almond milk chocolate, milk chocolate with almond, and I was drinking my tea with it, because I don't eat sugar and I don't have any processed food. That's why I couldn't understand why I was gaining weight. But back then, if I'm looking now, knowing what had happened to me, I couldn't pinpoint, but my hormonal system was screaming at me, saying, hey, the moment you put some food into this, we are storing it, because you starved us so much, and we are storing everything now. So it doesn't matter what amount of food you are putting there, just in case you go crazy in your head again, we will give you some fat, and the fat is going to last you longer in case you decide to starve again, because the fat is going to last. And that's how my second year 2024 was all between OMAD, skipping days of eating. So my food intake became very disorganized, and my body, again, it was the advice of Dr. Peltz and other fasting gurus, that you have to trick your body so the body wouldn't get used to things and it would never know how to react, and you're going to heal any disease, you're going to heal any ache in your body. And I believed, until I really started going through these things, that I am gaining weight, and I'm gaining weight. And since I lost almost 40 pounds, like, there is no way you can gain back that much. You'll gain 5, 10, but 40 back, no way. And then when I collapsed in the beginning of the year 2025, it was my 60th birthday, And I was literally laying dead. And if it were for 2 more weeks longer laying and without seeking medical attention, I probably would, I don't know, I don't want to think about it, but I was gravely ill anyway. And then when the doctor started playing with my, of course, Synthroid, all that medication, levothyroxine, and then I was trying everything, armor, thyroid, and I really wanted to figure out, because I became, again, I started learning everything about this hyperthyroidism, because I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism and Hashimoto's. And with Hashimoto's, you start gaining weight because the cells stop communicating in your body, and everything that's supposed to go into nutrition goes into the storage of water and then some pet things. And I am all bloated and inflamed, and that is not going away. And then again, I was on my own. My doctor, endocrinologist, saying, you will start losing weight the moment we'll figure out the dosage, the moment we figure out everything else, because first we started with high dose of levothyroxine, and I mean, I was saying, oh, I found information, levothyroxine is not good, so let's try the desiccated hormone, the animal hormone, and thyroid, I mean armor thyroid, which has T3 and T4 combination. And I started taking that, and I didn't like how I felt. And the first, it was 100. So first they prescribed me 50 micrograms. Then it didn't help me. Then it was 100 micrograms. And then again, I wasn't feeling good, and my blood work didn't show any improvement. I was prescribed 125. 125, it was the highest I went. And then the labs started finally gradually going back. And at one point, I was showing hyper and hyperthyroidism. And so the doctor was saying, wow, it's unbelievable. You have Hashimoto and Graves at the same time. They fluctuate. And those are two autoimmune conditions with the thyroid thing. And to tell you how I felt, I can't even probably describe. It feels like you don't have any energy. And I had to work, and my work is a very high level performance, because I am a university professor where I am teaching actually hands-on classes all day long. And that was very, very tough. So finally, I started moving. My energy was gradually coming back, but then my weight was piling up, and you know how we people who are concerned about our bodies and have these issues pretty much all our lives, we really looking nervously at every single extra pound, at everything, like, okay, one more piece of clothes goes that I can't fit into, and I'm going to the next piece of clothes that is going to last for a while, and then I don't know what's going to happen. And I started joining other communities on Facebook and on YouTube, trying to find the answer, whether if I have hypothyroidism and Hashimoto, what can I do in terms of fasting or anything. And no one was saying anything, because no one knew. All these fasting communities, they were for healthy people, and healthy people were saying, oh my God, fasting really saved me. And you know how we go under the fasting video, and everyone is saying, oh my God, this is the thing that I found, that I've discovered it, and it's saving me. And I asked questions there. Honestly, first question was like, people, how do you maintain the weight when you lost on ADF, but then you start OMAD and you are gaining weight? And honestly, I believe that ADF, the alternate day fasting, is not sustainable in long term. And what did I hear back? What do you mean it's not sustainable? It's a God-given tool. Our body knows how to go about fasting, and it would take care of itself. And yes, it's sustainable. But honestly, guys, I was as strict with ADF as possible. No cheating, no 500 calories. No, if it's fast, it's fast. I told you I also had 72 hour fasts, two of them. And it's hard. It's really hard. Even with the willpower, with everything, it is hard. And don't believe anyone who is saying, oh, it's so easy. It's easy maybe till 3 p.m., till 4 p.m., but in the evening, if you don't go to bed right away, it's really hard. And still, it's not like you have the noise, the food noise in your head, but still you have these thoughts that you are not eating today. However, you're getting used to those thoughts, yes, that's for sure, and you're not paying attention to that anymore. But the problem is that when you are getting this as your habit or as the prolonged ADF, the second day, the fifth day, you're not hungry. You're not hungry, and you start thinking like, oh my God, I was thinking about food yesterday and that's what I would be eating on the fifth day, but the fifth day comes and you can't enjoy it. And then you're at work, and then the day comes to an end and you again not hungry, and then you stop eating, and even the intake food on the feast days is becoming not very many calories. So I don't know what to explain to you other than that I ruined my metabolic health whatsoever, and no one could give me an answer. Like, okay, when I was diagnosed and saying now I have problem, I am, no matter what I'm eating, even if I'm eating the healthiest of the healthy foods, even if I'm watching my size of my meal, and if whatever, it just doesn't matter. And if you go and read under those things like comments, and they say, please remember that the advice less food and more movement doesn't work in the times when you have your thyroid dysfunction, when you have Hashimoto, when you have Graves, when you have hypothyroidism, and hyper or hyperthyroidism. It doesn't work because, first of all, you can't move, and second of all, you don't eat much, and then the third of all, your metabolism doesn't work. Your intracellular level in the body stops working, and the cells don't recognize nutrients, and they don't know what to do, and they just store it in all wonderful places. Plus it retains water, so you're constantly inflamed and you're bloated, and that's what you see. First time in my entire life, I reached the scale number of 200 pounds. To tell you that I can't stand looking at that scale, to tell nothing. I refuse to step on the scale. I don't know what to do, and I don't like what I see in the mirror. And I found a functional medicine doctor, and she was the first one to tell me, like, you can't fast, period. With your condition, you can't fast. So your condition, first and foremost, is to nurse back to health your thyroid. And your thyroid then is going to start functioning normally. So you take your Synthroid. I ended up being on Synthroid because actually now it's been already a year and a half since I was diagnosed, and I went on 125 micrograms of all these medicines that they prescribed in this case, and I ended up being with the original original formula, and the original formula is Synthroid. So the generic is levothyroxine, then natural desiccated the hormone is armor thyroid. That didn't work for me, and then I decided to go to the original formula Synthroid. However expensive it is, because the insurance believes it is the third tier of medication and it doesn't cover it much. So anyway, now I'm on 50 micrograms, because my numbers on thyroid actually coming back to normal. And according to the traditional medicine, our Western point of view of thyroid, like, we did everything for you. Look, we healed your thyroid, and now we just stay on this medication and we are not going to do anything else. So I went to functional doctor. By the way, they didn't say anything about diet. They say, well, you can eat whatever you want. And then, of course, in all those communities, they say, this first and foremost, you going to rule out everything with the oh god so gluten is going to be your enemy number one, and honestly I don't feel that gluten is doing anything to me. But I stopped gluten, and it wasn't a problem for me, and it isn't, because I don't care about bread. I don't care about baked goods. I never had things. Yeah, sure, cake here for the birthday for the coworker, for a coworker at work, and I can refuse that cake, and I don't do that. But now I have, as I always had, vegetables, fruits, meat. I started eating red meat, and just other healthy stuff, no processed food, no nothing. But still I am, it's not that I stopped gaining weight, but I think I do gain it. And looking at myself in the mirror, it's kind of very, very challenging thing. So that's why I'm closing my eyes while getting to work. And we had this award ceremony the other day at work, and I was awarded. So I got it on stage, and our official photographer was taking pictures. And but you know, the two of my colleagues, they also took pictures, and they were so kind to me that they texted those pictures to me. And you know what, I texted back saying, you know, I can't keep that picture, I really can't, because I look I look bad, I look so fat. And so anyway, you know how you think that you got rid of all the pictures that you don't like, but there is always somebody else who would send this picture to you again, saying, hey, I took this picture for you, hope you enjoy it. So the story is that alternate day fasting, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. If you are healthy, it does work in a short time, in a short term, but it's not. And fasting, as I initially thought it was just really a remedy of everything, and it's the ultimate cure of every condition, and I no longer think so. And especially again, those people who I was looking up to, Dr. Peltz, and that eat fast, eat, repeat, and that book, and Colleen and everybody. So Colleen is saying that no, fasting ADF is really not working. Dr. Peltz, right now I'm looking at her video, 36 hours 72, the new truth, and she discovers new truth. I don't even want to watch that video, because I don't know. I actually left one comment under her video, very long one, with all the data saying that the fast works until it doesn't. And so what I'm saying, listen to your body, have your blood work done. The official medicine doesn't support fasting. Fast before your tests. I mean, it's good to be able to train your body to stay without food, because sometimes you go somewhere on a journey and you don't have access to food and your body is not screaming bloody hell, feed me, feed me. And for that, really, I mean, I can easily go without food 24 hours, and it's not a big deal, and I am not food dependent. However, my body is now recovering, and my functional doctor, she's saying there is no way, don't even think about fasting. You have to eat 3 meals a day, 3 well-balanced meals a day, and of course you don't overeat, you just eat until satiety. You have to be satisfied, not hungry, because, well, again, gluten-free, it means no pasta, no pastry, no bread, no those fillers that actually help you to get to satiety faster, and they're going to keep you not hungry longer. But since I don't have sugars, I don't dairy. Dairy kind of, some people believe that it's culprit, but some people say that dairy is fine. I found raw milk, I found healthy cheeses, and cottage cheese. I allow myself honey, just the organic honey. I know that this diet or this style of feeding yourself is very, very expensive, because meats are very expensive. Everything organic is expensive. Again, thank God I live in California, and it's not difficult to find organic fruits, vegetables, etc. But again, who knows what we're eating? Like a couple of years ago, actually, my thyroid collapse happened at the times when the lithium battery fire happened in one of the Tesla storage facility over here, and I happened to live 15 miles away from that one in Moss Landing, California, that the storage communities, and I am on the wind flow live from there, and of course we all felt that, and I had to go to work, and since maybe I was already falling apart, and that's what happened. I don't know, maybe that was final straw that knocked me off, and I just, that's what it is. And thinking back, you see, I want you to become advocates for your own health. So do all your blood work, pay attention to everything, is because they started asking me, like, no, I started asking them, but when I heard this, that you have hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto, maybe hyperthyroidism, maybe all those things combined, I like, how did it come about? Where did it come from? And they started saying, did you have anyone in your family being sick? And honestly, I don't know. And I live in this country, and all my relatives died. My mom never had it, but my mom died young. I don't know, maybe she never got to that point. My grandparents, I've never heard the term thyroid in our family. I heard some distant relatives were talking about that one person just had this condition, but it was kind of, I don't know. And then they saying, when I started reading more about it, think as far back as possible, trying to put together all the events in your life. What stresses do you have? Because it's mainly attributes to stress, and our life is stress, and our international affairs is one constant stress, and everything is very stressful. Life is stressful, but the ability to withstand those blows that life brings, that is also showing your strengths, but then being strong all the time, that it takes its toll. And I really, my first kind of bell, first ring was in 2023, 2022. I had problem with my vocal cords. I literally was losing my voice. And now, of course, I went to the ear, nose, throat specialist, and they were just looking into that. And I went to the speech therapy, and I went to everyone, and no one even, nobody said, okay, let's check your thyroid. Though I did go to the CT scan of my neck area, everything was good. But I'm now more than sure that that was the thyroid saying, hey, take a look at me, take a look at me. I'm going to, please pay attention. And I didn't. So my voice came back. Then my miraculous fasting put me back into good health externally, but internally I was falling apart. So now, since I'm back, I will be posting updates to how I feel, and maybe so since I'm seeing this functional doctor and taking some supplements, maybe I'm looking forward that I will start getting smaller eventually. I'm following all recommendations, and technically they say that my water retention should be better. Maybe I'll find the lymph draining specialist who can do massages in that case. But I am not losing hope to look normal again. But now I wanted you to see me, because when some of you new subscribers come and saying, oh, you're glowing, or whatever, and I feel almost guilty. I am deceiving you that you look at me being that, looking that good 2.5 years ago, and you having me as the example to follow. And I am looking at that and reading your messages from the way how I feel and look now. It's a deception. And that's why I'm here before you. And I will be telling you, like shorts or something like that, how I look, how I feel, and how I got here. And please, listen to your body, and don't listen to the gurus on the internet, and know that ADF is very hard. Don't listen to anyone saying the fasting is easy. No, fasting is not easy, and it's not natural. People see, I'm coming from the Soviet Union, and we grew up on the stories about that war, because our grandparents, they all went through all the hardships of that war. And people who were on occupied territories and who were placed in the concentration camps, they were not fed. Food deprivation, actually, it's torture, and it's going to death of people. So that's why, to deprive yourself of food, your body believes that something dramatic and horrible is happening in your life. That's why when gurus with smiling faces saying, hey, it's so easy, and look at me, I look so cool, they've never had metabolic problems. They just happen to look good and be happy, and not having eating and don't not having gaining weight problems or something like that. Because once you lost weight, even in mid-age or even when you're younger, still body remembers that size, and it will be struggle all your life to stay slim, slender. You'll have to run longer. You have to eat less. You have to exercise more. You have to really work every day, while the other people who are teaching you from YouTube, they don't do that. It comes naturally to them. And we all different. We all people, we all persons, and we all deserve right to be where we are and do what we do. And the other blow to my self-esteem, because I'm telling you, I feel terrible how I look and everything. I went to another doctor when I went into the flare, and I had this extreme muscle inflammation all over my body, and I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a doctor after hours, thinking that maybe he or the after hour doctor going to give me some good advice. And I went to him. I mean, there was a young doctor of internal medicine, and he was like, "What can I help you with?" I said, "I'm really in pain." And he said, "Well, let's try something anti pain reliever. Let's do the painkiller, some injections." Well, what type of injection? You have to take into consideration my condition, because I have this hyperthyroidism and Hashimoto and everything. He said, "Well, I don't know what we're going to do something. And if that's not going to help, then we'll check another one." I said, "No, you can't do this, because if you don't know what you're going to give me, then you really, don't know what's going on with me." He said, "Well, I see that." I said, "Doctor, you have to understand that I gained so much weight. I just have these conditions." And he said, "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. You obese." And he just threw that word into me. "You are obese." And that was like, oh my gosh. That's the word that I was afraid all my life. And all my life, I was between 120 and 130 pounds. And only now, because of all these things that happened to me, I look the way I do. And now I am being judged. I'm being judged by a doctor how I look. And he calls me obese. And I said, "Of course, doctor, here I'm sitting in front of you, an old, obese, ugly woman, and asking for help. And you can't even provide that." So that was not the best visit to a doctor. That was my long rant. I just again want to tell you that please, 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 let yourself be. Allow yourself to go through life. And this video I need for myself first and foremost, because I am carrying this negative thought that I don't like how I look. And my functional doctor saying that every negative thought is an extra pound on you. Every negative saying out loud, it's a statement, it's a nail in not in the coffin yet, but it's a nail into the box of your thinking. So let's get out of the thinking, and I will be seeking your help of doing this with me. So again, don't do ADF, don't do fasting. You may delay your breakfast in the morning. You may not eat after 6 p.m. This is the most wonderful thing, but don't do fasting. And that was me coming back on my fit fasts. And probably I will need to rename my channel. But meanwhile, if you forgot how what my name was, I'm Lillian, and I'm so happy to be back. See you soon.